everyone. Thank you for joining me here today. I invite you to write any comments, say hello, and if you have any questions, to just write in the box below. As usual, I have helper here today who will be reading the questions on my behalf. All right, so I wanted to talk about using color to raise our vibration. And in learning so, we can actually learn how to use energy in a very easy way. So, and after I talk about it, we are going to bring in the Ascended Masters. If you don't have any questions, of course, you're very welcome to, like I said, write your questions below, and my helpers here will let me know what the questions are. Once we bring in the Ascended Masters to see if they have any information they would like to add, you can also ask them questions. We only have 30 minutes, so we might get around to answering maybe about 2 or 3 questions. And after that, we're going to do a small exercise or a meditation that will encourage us to use color to either enhance our frequency or to help us remove blockages. I do have my little dog here with me, Summer. She's very interested in energy. Every time I do any kind of energy, she likes to come around. So I'm just gonna let her be. Okay, so some of the colors that I love using most of the time, whether it is for myself or when I do energy work, it's blue, aqua, pink, yellow. I will use green as well, pearlescent white, and or violet at times. So it all depends on what I'm trying to do with that kind of frequency. So assuming that I want to use a type of frequency to clear my energy field or to clear my body from other types of energies that might be trying to come in, I will use pearlescent white. So when I say pearlescent white, it means it's a type of white that I call it heavenly white. It's a white that has the rainbow within it. And it's very, very useful in clearing blockages. So I might imagine or ask for that frequency to come in through me, and that will clear my body or the energy field as well. Sometimes when I do this, I might spend about half an hour or sometimes less moving the energy through. Some of you might be able to actually see that energy, and some of you might be able to just sense it. Or if you can't do either of that at this moment yet, you just have to trust. So the way that energy works is through intent and command. Visualization is very helpful, but if you can't use visualization, you can use your imagination. If you can't use your imagination, you just have to trust. So energy is very responsive when you trust and have that type of, I'm going to call it faith, okay? When you use trust and faith in what you are doing and capable of doing, you move beyond our limitations of our physical reality that come from the lower ego, and you move into the higher aspects of yourself and go into the higher ego, we could call it, or higher aspects of self, okay? So through the guidance of your inner wisdom, you can be guided to the colors that you need to use that day. So let's talk about pink, because it's a color that I use a lot, not just on myself, but on people that I help sometimes. So pink is the representation of divine love. And the way that we want to use divine love is pretty much to transmute in a very graceful way energies that no longer serve us, or energies that might be in a room, etc. So divine love, because it's found everywhere, right? It's the glue that binds everything. It's very accessible, and you can just tap into the color pink. I prefer bubblegum pink, to bring it in with my intent and, like I said, the trust that I have about my ability to tap into that frequency, because it's my right to be able to do that, right? So I would grab the pink and just ask it to come into my nervous system. I will use the pink to actually recharge my nervous system and to regenerate. So as an empath, I use a lot of energy through my nervous system. So I need to constantly be recharging it. And this is what I use to be able to sustain my physical body and to sustain myself in the work that I do. Empaths would really benefit from that. You can visualize that color pink, bubblegum pink, coming into your upper belly, filling that up with that pink, and then allowing the energy to continue to come and fill up the bottom part of your body, and then allow it to fill up the upper part of your body. And once that's done, you would then kind of look like a bubblegum pink person, and this will be very beneficial. All right, so you can use the indigos, the blues, the greens. So the greens are for healing the body, but we're not always going to use the greens for healing the bodies, because sometimes our bodies might need a different frequency, such as divine love. So maybe that's love is all it needs, right? So then you would give it that. And sometimes you might use the golden frequency, which is a very high level frequency. Not everybody can hold that frequency in their bodies yet, but the more that you practice bringing in different levels of frequencies, the more that your body is able to sustain it, okay? So it's all about growing one step at a time, right? We want to slowly build that foundation so that we can sustain our abilities to not just hold energy, but also move energy, okay? All right, so if I'm to work with someone, let's say doing energy healing, or if I'm to work in a place, like let's say this room, if I wanted to work with color as a frequency, I would once again, with my intent and my command, pull that energy through and begin flooding either the room or the part of the body of the person I'm assisting with that color. Once again, you have to trust that whatever information is coming to you from that person or from the higher self of that person, and go with that. So it's when we work with energy, you always want to make sure that you're not putting yourself or that person in a box. So let's say that today I tell you, you gotta use pink, divine love, to be able to heal something. No. It always goes according to what the person needs, okay, or the room might need. So you got to trust your intuition, we could say, and in order for you to be able to go into your intuition or in a connection with that person so that you know what the person needs, you have to actually access your divine heart. So you'll notice that every time I talk, I'm always going to talk about the divine heart, because it is our key, the key that one of the most important parts of our bodies that will actually allow us to do a lot of this kind of work in a very, with a lot of flow, in an easy way, and transcending as well. So you would have to actually, once again, go into the spiritual heart, trust the information that you're receiving, whether you see it, feel it, sense it, smell it, taste it. People use different kinds of senses to understand information. So you also have to trust that, right? Okay, so that's it. Are there any questions that any of you have for me? And I'm just going to ask my helpers here. Any questions about what I'm talking about? If you do, I ask you to please just write them in the comment box below. Sure.
Nobody yet.
Okay.
I just told him not to be shy.
Oh, okay. So if you don't have any questions about what I'm talking about, that's okay. What I'm going to do now is I'm going to bring in the Ascended Masters and see what they have to say, either about what I'm talking about, or maybe they have something to add or to correct. Yeah.
Actually, if you don't mind, somebody did write a comment. So it's not a question, but I thought it would be interesting to share it. Eva says that she uses the violet flame to clear heavy energies and emerald green flame to energize her energies.
Yeah, very good.
And of course, she also says she used singing bowls.
Ooh, yeah, that sound.
That
yeah.
has to do with the vibration
Yeah,
that we talked about
sound.
last time.
Yeah, so Eva, you're using sound for frequency vibration and color as well. I love using the violet flame, the violet color with the violet flame. Although, from my experience, we can't always use it because it depends on what we're shifting in ourselves, a place or a person. So sometimes I would be like, okay, I'm going to use the violet on this person's hand, let's say. And then the spirit guides might come and say, not for this hand, because maybe this person has to understand why that energy might be in their hand. And as they understand why that energy might be in their hands, then it can be released, type of thing. Okay, so yes, we can definitely use it, but it's not, from my understanding, not all of the time can we just go and use it, but I do love it. Yeah.
Okay, we have another question. Anne is wondering if she doesn't see the color, is it okay to, is white a good one to work with?
Yes, so that's a very clearing type of energy. Like I said, I like to use that pearlescent white. So imagine looking at white pearl, you know how it has that little rainbow colors within it? That's a very high frequency that is very soothing and clearing, clears quite well actually. It's better than if you just imagine just regular white. But yeah, be a good one. You don't always have to be able to see the colors that you're using, as long as you have the intent to tap into that frequency through color. So really it's learning how to use energies, different kinds of frequencies in the energies through color. So it's a way to facilitate our ability to tap into what we want to tap into. Does that make sense? Okay. All right, so I'm going to bring in the Ascended Masters. Oh, just 1 second. And let's see if they have anything to add or any message to give about what we're talking about today. And then of course I invite you to ask a question or two, okay? So just give me a few seconds to adjust. So as usual, I'm going to ask you to just put your feet firmly on the floor and to ground yourselves. And by grounding ourselves, I mean be fully into your body. So feel your body and then have the intent to fully connect to the heart of the earth so that you can lock yourself in, type of thing, okay? I'm going to ask you also to bring your attention to your spiritual heart, which is located in the center of your chest, about 2 to 3 inches to your left. So breathing into the spiritual heart. Greetings. We are the Ascended Masters here to assist. We invite you to think of the color violet. Think of an amethyst stone, for it is the physical representation of the violet flame located in your spiritual hearts. And as you think of this specific crystal, begin to access that divine flame of your spiritual heart in the color violet or purple. And ask this flame to activate itself in a different way for you today. Perhaps for you, it will be larger or wider. And as you sense or envision the flame becoming what it needs to become for you today, you begin to realize that accessing divine aspects of yourself in your physical reality is just as easy as that. When we speak of color as a way for you to learn how to use frequencies, energetic frequencies in the physical reality, we are encouraging you to begin manifesting this in your life. For it is as simple as you tapping into the color of a wall you might have in your house, or a blanket that you may put over your body, to begin to activate these frequencies within your bodies. And so we encourage you to have a blanket that is with the color that symbolizes, that holds within itself divine love. So let's talk about the color pink, for it is a color that symbolizes, that carries that vibration within itself. As you sleep at night, covered on that frequency, held by a blanket that has been stained with that color, you begin to activate within your bodies more of that divine love that is located within every single cell, atom within atoms, within every atom that is located in every cell. And so what would that mean for you as a physical individual that has now begun to activate divine love within the atoms of every cell? Well, we will tell you that you begin to transcend through the frequency of love, and you begin to learn about what love really is from the higher perspective. We call it higher love so that you may understand exactly what we are speaking of. And so as higher love begins to transform you, your thoughts, and your reality, you begin to see your world differently, and you begin to understand your connection to all through this specific frequency called higher love. So we encourage you to play with color. It is as easy as having it manifested on a blanket in your bedroom, on a wall in your house, as something that you might want to wear for that day, or something that you might want to utilize through your intent and command, as it was said earlier. By understanding that color has frequency, you can begin to empower your lives and the frequencies that are affecting you, your moods, your bodies, your emotions, and so on. It is as simple as thinking of the color and the emotion or the feeling that color gives you and projects to you, to understand what that color means for you at that moment, or how to use that color at the moment. Let's assume that your mood is down for the day and that you are not sure which frequency to use through color. Well, if you think of the color yellow, how would that feel? If you think of the color aqua, how would that feel? You see, it is not always necessary for you to go and study an encyclopedia about what colors mean, for the wisdom and the knowledge already exists within yourselves. Yes, it was mentioned by Monica earlier on that you must trust your ability to do so and to direct energy through your intent and command. For it is within that trust, and yes, she used the word faith. This is a very good word that has been, we could say, misused in previous decades. However, if we bring back our attention or your attention to that word, you will understand that it is a very powerful word, for its frequency in itself has a lot of magnetism that will allow you to manifest in the way that you need to. If you allow yourself to move out of that consciousness of humanity and into the consciousness of your higher aspects. We thank you for allowing us to speak today and invite you now to ask a question or two. Okay, so now I'm going to ask you if you have a question or two, understanding that we only have 30 minutes. I don't even know what the time is now.
10 minutes left.
We have 10 minutes left, so I think we have time for maybe 3 questions, because we want to do a closing meditation or an exercise that can help us learn how to use this together. Okay, so what's the first question?
There is almost 30 seconds to 1 minute delay, so they haven't heard you tell them to ask questions.
Oh, okay.
Yet.
Okay.
So I asked it typing, so let's give them a minute.
Okay.
Can we send a color to other people?
Yes. Yes, you can definitely do that as long as you are based in your heart. So when we are thinking, let's say, of a person that is depressed, I will see that person energetically gray, sometimes a form of a light white cloud around them. The way to clear that is that you would actually send from your heart a pearlescent white color or a pearlescent pink color, and that would begin to dissolve that energy that is around them. But definitely yes, as long as the intent is from the heart. Never do any kind of energy work without first grounding and checking in with this. If we work with the mind, you might be working not in the way that you would want to. When we work from the heart, we move things. Have you ever heard the saying, love can move mountains? It's actually true. We're just learning to really use love right now. And so, yeah, it really is transformative. It is something that really moves things, very healing. However, let me ask the Ascended Masters, are there any other questions or we're good?
Not so far, that's the only one we've got.
So I'm going to ask the Ascended Masters and see if they have anything to say about sending energy through color to another person, okay? So I'm just gonna go again and connect with them. Greetings, we are the Ascended Masters here to assist. And so your question is, can you send color to other beings that are physical or non-physical? And our answer is yes. The moment that you begin to use color as a frequency and understanding what you are doing, you begin to open up yourself as a channel of that frequency. You would then begin to beam that color through the spiritual heart towards that specific individual or place, as to assist them or support them in whatever it is that they are going through or moving through in their existence at that moment. And so this color begins to move them and support them in the right way for them. One of the reasons why the color must move through your heart It's because the frequency has to be filtered according to what that specific individual or place needs. For oftentimes, if the individual is sent a specific frequency that they are not able to sustain or to tolerate because the frequency is too high or too different from what they are holding at that moment, it can be too much for a person's body or systems to actually be affected by it in any way. So it is best to open up as a channel of that color and allow the heart to filter it and to calculate, we could say, the amount of that specific frequency being sent to that specific person, people, or places. Thank you. Okay.
Okay, there's only 5 minutes left and there are no other questions.
Okay,
I
so
would recommend we move on to
okay. So since there are no other questions, what we're going to do now is we're going to do an exercise / meditation to help us learn how to work with this color in a more practical way. All right, so like I said earlier, the first thing that we want to do is make sure that we're fully grounded. So I'm going to invite you once again to ground yourselves. So once again, feet planted firmly on the ground. And I prefer to be sitting up, although some of you might prefer to be laying down, and that's fine. So begin grounding by being fully present in your bodies. And then bring your attention back to the spiritual heart. Breathe into your spiritual heart and expand your chest as you do that. And let's breathe into the spiritual heart once again. And allow your body just to relax in your exhale. And now begin to call upon that pearlescent white that we talked about before earlier. And allow this color or this light to come through the top of your head and into your body, and allow it to move in the pace that it needs to move, so at the speed that it needs to move through your body, in order to best assist you in clearing the energies of the day, energies of other people, energies from situations or places that you might have encountered throughout the day, and getting you ready for bed, right? So we want to bring in that energy. And the moment that it reaches your feet, I want you to imagine that this light becomes a pool of white pearlescent light right under your feet. And as this light becomes that white pool, allow it to begin to come up again, not just inside your body now, but now it's going to be about a foot from your body outwards, and allow it to move up, 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 until it's on top of your head. Once it's on top of your head, begin to move that further out from 1 foot and outwards from your body. So 2 feet out into your body, and begin to allow it to come through. And once again, creating a larger pool of white pearlescent light under your feet. So now it should be about 2 feet wide. And allow that now to extend an extra foot so that it is about 3 feet away from your physical body. And allow that energy to move up, 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 up your energy field. And once again, on top of your head. So what you are creating is a cocoon of this pearlescent white light, but you also have it inside of you. So what that has done, it has cleared your physical body as well as your energetic bodies. And then I'm going to invite you to bring your attention back to the spiritual heart, because we want to learn to use that part of us as much as possible, and just allow it to become more open. So allow it to open more and just sense its divinity within you. Now, some of you might feel that it's a very tight spot to bring your attention to, and that it's normal if you haven't been working with it, or if you haven't been opening it as often as we could, or as you could. So physically it might hurt, but I promise you that the more that you open up your spiritual heart, the more that you work with it, the easier it will be for you to access it, and the physical pain will actually not happen after a while. Okay, so once your attention is in the spiritual heart, just begin breathing in this light so that it can open up your expression and your truth through your throat chakra, and then breathing it up so that it can begin to open up your third eye, breathing it higher than that into the crown chakra so that it can open that, and then breathing in that light so that it can go into the chakra that is above the crown chakra, and then breathing in again into that spiritual heart, and allow that light to move into your solar plexus, breathing in that light again and allow it to move into your second chakra, and lastly allow it to move into your base chakra. Now we are going to call in the bubblegum pink, so just have the intent to tap into bubblegum pink light, or that color, and allow it to come into your belly, and filling up your belly with that bubblegum pink. Use your breath to move this energy through your body and to bring it in, and allow this bubblegum pink light to now continue to come in and to move into the lower parts of your body until it reaches the tip of your toes. Once that part of your body is full, allow it to then begin filling up the upper part of your body until your whole head is covered. By doing so, you should be, like I said earlier, a bubblegum pink person. Stay with that intent to hold that frequency for a few seconds. And allow it to regenerate your nervous system and recharge it. Take a deep breath in, ground yourself again, and bring your attention back to your body. And you will notice that this is a very peaceful way of using those two colors to raise your vibration through the elements that they bring into our energy bodies, but also our physical bodies. I want to thank you for,
Sorry, just one quick question that you can probably answer very quickly. So it's just somebody's wondering what the difference is between the spiritual heart and the heart chakra.
So from my understanding, when I work with them, the heart chakra is, well, one of the major chakras of the major 7 chakras that we have, which are aligned here, and then that we are aware of. Of course, there are other chakras that go up and above, all the way to the central sun, if I'm not mistaken, and some that go into the earth that I've seen. Okay, the chakras are like spirals. It's like they bring in energy, and they can also take out energy. For what I've noticed, the spiritual heart is actually slightly beside it. And it is an energy point that actually connects you to the infinite, connects you to everything. And it can filter energies, it can take you places, it can, if you learn how to access it more, it can actually give you information about anything. It's our connection to everything and everyone. So it is not the heart chakra that we use for that. is the spiritual heart that we use for that. The physical heart, the spiritual heart, and the heart chakra are all connected. If one gets affected, so does the other, type of thing. So this is why we always have to take care of our hearts, whether it's the heart chakra, physical heart, or spiritual heart. Okay. All right. So I want to thank you for joining me today. On Sunday, I will be going live to Toronto, and I'm going to be working with Tiffany Tin. We're going to be channeling for 2 hours our friends from Inner Earth and the Pleiadians and the Watchers as well. So they are our extraterrestrial friends that bring a lot of information for starseeds especially. So I invite you to join us. For that, you have to visit my website, which is monicadumont.com. But I will be here again next Wednesday at 7 o'clock. And I'm going to talk about how we can bless water. And if we have enough time, I will be able to talk about how to bless food as well. So it's about transmuting the energies of the water and how we can use that actually for our bodies and how we can benefit from that physically as well as spiritually. Okay. And then I have one last event before the end of the year so far, which is on December 6th. Also, I will be streaming it from Toronto, and I will be working with Karen Haywood, who's also a healer and channeler. We're going to be talking about how we can heal through energies and much more. For that, we will be channeling, like I said, for 2 hours as well. You would have to visit my website also for that, because I don't know if I've posted anything about it on Facebook, but if I have, you can just use that link as well. So thank you so much for joining me, and I hope to see you Sunday as well as on next Wednesday and on December 6th. Good night, everyone. Bye.